this a drill or something?
Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it.
Where did Luke first obtain the green lightsaber crystal for his second lightsaber first seen in Return of the Jedi? For those of you who don't remember, Obi-Wan Kenobi gave Luke his father's lightsaber in Star Wars A New Hope, the one, of course, with the iconic blue blade, which was lost, or I guess it fell off when Darth Vader cut off Luke's sword hand in The Empire Strikes Back. In Jedi, Luke has a new lightsaber which, seemingly out of nowhere, has a green blade, and it has one mention in the entire film.
I see you have constructed a new lightsaber. Your skills are complete.
But no further information was ever given in the new canon until recently. Now, lightsabers require kyber crystals amongst other parts, and they're not just found anywhere. By Jedi, almost all of the known locations of rare crystals were known to the Empire, and none of them were known to Luke as far as we know yet. There is also no mention of him traveling to Ilum, and unfortunately, as we know, Yoda eventually lost his weapon when he dueled the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious, in the Senate building. When Sidious unleashed bolts of energy to disarm him, the Jedi Master lost his lightsaber, which fell to the ground below and is yet to reappear. So I guess that rules out Yoda's lightsaber for those of you who thought he may have given it to him between Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. Now, recently there was some light shed on the construction of Luke's lightsaber. We know he had little instruction from Yoda and Ben and had to use the Force to build a lightsaber. Skywalker reached out with his mind and found the right pieces. Some easily purchased, some were harder to acquire during the 6 months that followed his duel on Bespin. But it was actually found in the canon novel Return of the Jedi, Beware of the Power of the Dark Side, released September 2015, in which it states, for the last pieces, he was guided by the Force to Kenobi's hut. There, he found a few things Kenobi had left behind that were useful to him, including the missing parts he needed for his lightsaber's construction. After leaving Kenobi's hut, he knew he had at last collected everything, keyword everything, he needed, and while his friends prepared for the upcoming rescue, Skywalker retreated into the solitude of a desert cave and puzzled over the pieces. He made use of the Force to put it all together and bring the crystal inside to life. When he was finished, he felt it truly was his lightsaber, almost an extension of himself. So we know there were definitely spare parts inside of the chest at Obi-Wan's abode, and arguably the most distinct and crucial component, the heart of the lightsaber, is the crystal. Well, the theory is that the new crystal comes from a former saber which Obi-Wan was keeping, one that hadn't been used for a long time. The lightsaber of Qui-Gon Jinn. But how could this be, here you ask? Well, Qui-Gon Jinn died over 40 years before Return of the Jedi. Consider the following. Qui-Gon died in a duel with Darth Maul. Following the decisive blow, Obi-Wan, who loses his own saber, used his master's saber to cut Maul in two. So where did the old Master Saber go after that? I mean, it wasn't burned with him. The likeliest outcome is that Obi-Wan kept it in honor of Qui-Gon Jinn. And it was in the chest on Tatooine, right next to Anakin's lightsaber in Star Wars A New Hope. So when Luke returned to the desert planet in Return of the Jedi, it would still be there, holding a kyber crystal for the taking in construction of his new lightsaber. Now, whether or not this is true, or it comes from a completely different source, I can only hope that the new Star Wars comic series or books or anything eventually gets to tell this very exciting story. This would also be an interesting piece of connective tissue between The Phantom Menace and Return of the Jedi. I mean, the one flaw in the story though is in episode 3, all of Obi-Wan's possessions would likely to be at the Jedi Temple, which was sacked by the 501st. The only reason he has Anakin's lightsaber is because he took it from Mustafar and then promptly went into hiding, unless Kenobi grabbed Qui-Gon's saber when he reprogrammed the distress message at the temple, or he had it hidden somewhere off Coruscant. I mean, it's hard to answer how he got it exactly to Tatooine, but it is all entirely plausible. It's just not airtight. Now, I hope it is Qui-Gon's lightsaber crystal because, and this is my personal favorite, I think Luke and Qui-Gon would have got along really well. Now, especially the fact with Luke's poignant statement of when he throws his lightsaber away in Return of the Jedi, which in turn made Anakin return as a Jedi and cast down the Emperor, fulfilling the prophecy Qui-Gon Jinn died upholding. If that is not the best thing you've ever heard, I don't know what is. How amazing would that be? He believed in the Chosen One theory. He was the Chosen One, and then Luke, threw away the lightsaber, the blade, the weapon, and suddenly the Force is in balance, and Qui-Gon, has done his part. Everybody would be happy. I mean, that in itself makes me want to see Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, smiling as well, But the beauty of this video is it is just the start of the discussion. Our love for Star Wars surrounds and it binds us together, so let me know in the comments below. Do you think it is Qui-Gon's crystal or it's just a random green crystal? Because I think this theory would tie things together nicely and it wouldn't be forced, because as we know, not everything has to rhyme or totally bind together in Star Wars. Because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that.
The crystal is the heart of the blade. There is Ophi. Your training is complete.
If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those Force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Always.